And out of everywhere in the world, you chose Hong Kong to come. So why did you
I
come to
didn't
Hong
quite
Kong?
choose Hong Kong. I went. So first of all, I had a scholarship. If you meet certain requirements in Florida, you can get a 50%, 75%, or 100% scholarship, depending on what you do. So I did all the. You have to do volunteer work. You have to get good grades. I got the 100% scholarship, and I chose a university in Florida. I chose that university because I really liked the beach there. The beach was beautiful. I didn't really care. I'm very like go with the flow kind of person. So I ended
Yeah.
up at this university. Within, I thought I was going to the big city or something. It was like 50,000 people in that city. So I get there, and within a couple of years, I'm kind of bored of it. I want something bigger, and so I was studying international relations at the time. That's what my bachelor's degree is in, and part of it is you have to study a language. So I had already done Spanish in high school. Don't really remember much, or actually I can read a newspaper and stuff, but I can't converse.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'd already done Spanish, and French I didn't have much interest in, and then Japanese was kind of the other option. So I started learning Japanese.
Cool.
So I had already had a year of Japanese, and then I noticed, you could do this study abroad program. So looking at all the different countries, and Japan made sense. I've been learning Japanese, so
Mhm.
went and tried to apply for the Japanese program. It was like, no, that one's full, but you can go to Hong Kong if you want. And so just said, yeah, go with the flow, and ended up in Hong Kong.
And you came with the flow. How long?
It was supposed to be for one semester, and after about 3 weeks here, I extended it to a year. And in my second semester here, I had already traveled all over Asia. I had set up my classes in the second semester so that I only had to go to class 2 days a week.
Okay.
And on those other days, I got a internship just around the corner from here, working at this magazine called Juice Magazine.
Okay.
And so they did kind of street fashion, music, like lots of things young people would be interested in. And although I was an intern, I think the writing staff pretty quickly realized like I knew more about music than most of them. So I ended up kind of writing a lot of the music pieces, going to music events, concerts, parties, interviewing artists, all this kind of stuff. And I was just doing kind of that whole half of the magazine myself. It was just like calling the Backstreet Boys on the phone, like
No.
going meet Justice in the backstage of a club and stuff, interviewing them. And this is like, 10 months before I was in Florida Manville, like with the manatees. And so pretty soon that was up. The study abroad is finished. It's time to go back to Florida. So I went back, and I was just like, oh man, I got to get back to Hong Kong. I get back to Asia. I'm going to finish my degree as quickly as possible in Florida. I'm going to take all the summer classes I can, and go back to Hong Kong like maybe a year from now, 2 years, whatever, just whenever I can graduate. I went back to Florida. The 2008 financial crash had just happened. So yeah, it was 2007, 2008, and it started in Florida. So I go back to Florida. Of course, I've spent all my money in Asia. I can't find a job anywhere. I put like 200 job applications in. Finally got hired at one place. I got hired as a dishwasher at a like themed restaurant where like waiters are dressed up in like old timey costumes and stuff, and I'm a dishwasher. I had to work my way up to being a busboy and then being a waiter and stuff. And in the meantime, I was living with this girl who just had this wild dog that had fleas, and like I'd put my foot down on the floor and fleas would just instantly start biting my feet. So I just went from like the most
Yeah.
incredible months of my life to I'm in hell now in Florida.
God was telling you something.
Yes. So I didn't even make it a couple months in these summer classes. I went back to the office and I was like, I want to study abroad again. Can you send me back to Hong Kong? And they said, I'm sorry, you can't do the same program twice. I said, what about Japan? And they said, oh yeah, you can study in Japan. So I ended up actually studying in Japan and studying Japanese in Osaka, kind of between Osaka and Kyoto. And yeah, I was there for less than a year. And then I should have gone back to Florida to finish my university. I flew directly to Hong Kong and kind of set up shop here.
Yeah.
After I had done that, I read a clause from my university that you can't graduate remotely. You have to finish your last year kind of on campus. So I had a pretty good relationship with my department head, and I sent him an email kind of like holding myself hostage, like, look, I'm not coming back, like, you need to make an exception or something.
Yes.
And I finished my degree remotely doing online classes. And then 2008, when I came back here, I got a really nice job. So I came back here under the idea that I was going to be working at that magazine again.
Yes.
The same month that I arrived, the magazine went out of business. So I arrived here, I've spent all my money again, no prospects. And I told them, like, okay, guys, like, you know, a few weeks ago, this was still the plan. You didn't tell me it was going out of business. You need to help me, like, introduce me to some people, help me find a job. And they introduced me to this guy named Simon Peng.